My name is Tamla Matthews and you're watching G5CU. I do Afro-Caribbean and contemporary Caribbean dance, and I have been doing this for over 25 years. So I run a number of programs in the city. My pride and joy is a program called Roots and Branches, and it is a dance program that is focused on Afro-Caribbean dance and culture for children mostly. We are almost 5 years old, and we run out of Malvern, which is an area in northeast Scarborough. I'm definitely a fan and a product of cultural community dance. I grew up doing cultural community dance, and so for me, the idea of starting a Roots and Branches was not a matter of if, but just a matter of when. That experience helped build me as a person, as a young woman, to have pride in my culture, in myself, and I wanted to bring that experience to my own child and other children when I became a parent. So for me, like I said, it was not a matter of if, it was just a matter of when I was going to do it. I started off by doing a series of classes for dance days about 4 years ago, and the then executive director of Duo, Dance Umbrella of Ontario, asked if I wanted to continue the classes because she had seen the community reaction. I said yes. We collaborated, started to apply for some grants, and for almost 5 years later, we are still. I started dancing as a child. I would do Saturday dance classes where we would learn songs, dances, movements, history of African Caribbean dance. I went on to train in different types of dance, modern, contemporary, a little bit of ballet training, and so over the years built myself up as a dancer, working more so with instructors who had come from the Caribbean, who had areas of specialty. So for me, my degree is in education and in sociology and environmental and health sciences. But as an artist, I've always gotten my training and experiences from other dance artists, from older people who have specialized in that form or who've been teaching for a long time. So that's how my background, that's my background in dance. So in terms of the kinds of dances that I like to teach or that we really focus on in Roots and Branches, we look at African dance, African Caribbean dance, dances that actually come from the Caribbean, so dances to music like soca, dance hall, more traditional pieces that go with drums. Those are some of the things that we like to focus on. Most people can sort of refer to Caribbean culture through Caribana, and we are involved in Caribana. We've been playing mass as masqueraders all our lives, most of us. And for the children and the families that aren't used to that world, Roots and Branches has been trying to bridge that by partnering with mass bands and band leaders and trying to, introduce the parents and the children who are in the program to Caribana. So we've been very successful with that. On a larger scale, Caribana celebrates Caribbean culture, and obviously we do that as well in our program. But it is one way that the culture really shows its power, its ability to bring people together, its ability to celebrate on a wide scale. Those are things that I'm really proud of as a Toronto resident and as somebody who has worked in Caribana, with Caribana, participated. It's really important to me that younger children understand the importance of this festival. Yes, it's fraught with lots of challenges, as any large festival is, but I think the cultural piece of that is important, and I'm very proud as a Torontonian that we have this festival, and that kids can also grow to love it and see themselves as artists and producers within the festival. So a lot of people have very negative perceptions of Caribana and what it is and what it does, and I, for one, always use every opportunity to be vocal about the great things about Caribana, as a gift to the Caribbean community from the government, which is how the festival started. I've always felt a sense of pride in this festival and a sense of ownership, despite all the bureaucracy, the name changing, and stuff around the funding. To be really honest, that's not my business unless I actually work for the corporation or the organization. Those aren't the things that are important to me. What's important to me is the idea that we are passing on a tradition that celebrates, that we actually work with artists who have skills that they don't apply otherwise. The costumes that you see are people's brainchilds. They are artists that sit and draw this. These are massmen that bend these wires to create these shapes. There's a whole industry of art and art creation that happens that will not be visible in any other part of Canadian society. These old foots, which is what I call them, are not going to be participating in Santa Claus Parade or St. Paddy's Day Parade, or you won't see their work any other time. So for me as an artist, Caribana is an artistic endeavor, and for that reason, it excites me to be involved in it. I've been involved, like I said, as somebody who played Mass. My mother is G5 Matthews, and she brought Mass to the city for many years. She's the winningest female band leader in the festival's history. I'm very proud of that. But we grew up in Caribana, so we sat around kitchen tables and had concepts and drew out ideas and looked at fabric. It really is an artistic endeavor. So it also is something that's very participatory. Anybody can participate in Caribana, and I think that is why people feel that they can speak on it, that they have space to, vomit their opinions about this festival, even if they don't know much about it. I wouldn't speak to Pride as a festival or Santa Claus Parade as a festival because I don't know the details of how those things run. But again, the strength and the curse of Caribana is just that it can engage people easily. It's very accessible. There's a way to be involved very easily if you want to be. There's a way to share your opinions about it, whether they're true or not. But for me as an artist, it's really important to just keep my focus on the artistic part of the festival, the creating part, the producing part, the logistics of organizing all these people under one central idea. A music that is clearly very powerful and can pull people together. I'm proud of the fact that it's Caribbean culture that brings millions of people to this city. I'm very proud of that fact. And I think that's something that we should highlight as Torontonians of Caribbean descent who, get to showcase our culture positively, which is how I choose to see it, for the most part. It's a huge festival, and I'm not at all ignoring that there are challenges with it, but I do feel very proud about it, and I am one of the lone voices that talks about the great things about Caribana and why we really need to get behind it as artists in this city. In terms of Caribana, what's called Caribbean Carnival Festival 2015, there were a number of changes to the route. I have some concerned that a festival like this, which really does have, there are reasons why things are done the way that they're done. For example, this is a parade, and so the idea of walking in a circle is kind of anti-intuitive. It's counterintuitive to the idea of a parade, which is that you start someplace and you go someplace else. There are concepts that are embedded in Caribana that a lot of people wouldn't know. For example, the idea of street theater. The idea that as a public, this is a time where we can take over the streets. Hamilton has art crawl. We have Caribana. It's participatory. People connect. There are people that I see at that time of year that I never see any other time of year. There's music and food and traditions that go with that. So for me, this year was a little disappointing in the sense that the changes to the route made it really difficult to enjoy Caribana like we normally do. The high fences that were put up, as much as a masquerader who spends money to buy this costume, I can appreciate that it's not great when people storm the band, which means people just jump into the band with regular street clothes. No, it's not an ideal experience for somebody who spends the money, and Caribana is expensive. At the same time, I think we need to find a way to keep the accessibility of the festival and also protect the investment of those of us that actually pay money to participate in the festival. So I wasn't too happy with that, the changing of the route and the impact of that. I just think there's a lot of negative things around this festival that don't really need to be. Media has a stronger role to play in highlighting the positives of this festival. So I definitely hold media accountable, and also the people that are running the festival, some of them don't know or particularly care about some of the cultural intentions behind the festival, and so it's really difficult when you have people who don't know for them to keep these things alive or to embed things to make sure that these fundamental concepts are protected. like I said, I'm a child of this festival. My mother was a band leader, so my orientation to it is very different. It's also based quite significantly on Trinidad and Tobago's carnival. And so having Trinidadian parents and growing up in a very Trinidadian culture and household, I have a sort of innate understanding of how these things are supposed to run and really what it does for people. Caribana at its best is the best mental health break you can ask for. This is a time where you party, you let it all go, you meet people, you celebrate, and then you get back to life. And so there's a real mental health role in Caribana that I don't think is highlighted enough. Having said that, I do hope that as the festival gets older, there are spaces for people like myself or other ideas. There's a whole generation of artists and art administrators that can be applied to this festival to strengthen it. And it's just a matter of time. We just have to have these conversations in bigger spaces with more people in order for the festival to really seek its potential. But I do share some of the disappointments that have been floating around about this year and where the festival is going. There are a number of people that are upset. I wouldn't say that I'm upset, but I would say that I'm concerned, and I would like to be a part of addressing that. So, talk a little bit about Roots and Branches, which is my children's dance company. I also have an adult dance company called Caribbean Dance Theater. We've been around for 20 plus years as well, and we do contemporary Caribbean dance. We do performances, a lot of private gigs, that kind of stuff. I also do a lot of private instruction. I teach a lot at schools, teach at universities, that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for someone who has sort of a Caribbean cultural approach to dance and culture, definitely get at me. You can check me out at www.tamlamatthews.com, or I will be blogging soon for the G5CU radio crew, and so you can check out my blogs there as well. You can always find me on Facebook. Yes, I'm on Facebook, so you can search Tamla Matthews, or if you want more information about Roots and Branches, you can check us out on Facebook as well. Our Malvern program will be starting October 17th, and we will be moving out to Brampton as well, running a dance program out in Brampton for children and young youth. We generally tend to cap it around 13, 14, but it really depends on how many people come out and the ages of the people that are there. But you can definitely check us out in Brampton coming this fall. And other than that, if you want to find me, you know where I am. I'm Tamla Matthews, and it's been awesome chatting with G5CU.